down in Indianapolis, and the pubs are open in the UK. Dan Weldon has just won the Indianapolis 500.
This has been a dream come true for me. I want to hear the fans some more. I can't hear you. Got to scream.
He hit the wall, just like Thomas Schaefer.
Keep your foot on the gas.
Dan Weldon is going to win the race.
Yeah, Dan!
That is unbelievable. Oh my goodness.
Weldon, after finishing second the last 2 years, wins when J.R. Hildebrand hits the wall coming out of 4.
I want to say hi to my family back home and my mother, and you know, the Alzheimer's Association for giving me the opportunity to represent them. It's just an incredible day.
6 years ago tomorrow, Daniel Weldon lost his life at this racetrack, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. One of the best IndyCar drivers in the modern era, one of the greatest drivers ever at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But you know what? If Dan were here today, he'd be saying, go ahead, go and race. Go and enjoy the good times. And that's exactly what we're going to do here today. It's the final round of the Classic IndyCar Series, presented by Joe Real Timing and Logical Innovative Engineering. 200 laps, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Let's go do some racing. We'll be back in a moment's time. Welcome to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Welcome to the track where you pick red or black. You put it all on the line. 20 degrees worth of banking at this racetrack, 1.5 mile oval, 200 laps is our race distance here today. Qualifying is underway as we speak. Drivers are now out on track, trying to see how fast they can go over the course of the next 5 minutes. A couple of lap times have come in already. Michele Constantini, well, you know what? He takes a checkered flag and starts this race. He will be the oval champion for this year. But, well, Jack, we head ourselves into the overall championship. Still a battle going on with Robert Grosser and Lucas Laville.
Robert Grosser and Lucas Seville have been at it all year for this overall championship, and I feel like today at Las Vegas is going to be closer than ever. Robert Grosser is going to have the advantage over Lucas straight away because Lucas has got a rear grid penalty which he still has to serve, so he's sitting out qualifying and is not going to be able to set a qualifying time. In the meantime, Robert Grosser in the number 1 car is currently 3rd position with a 25.886, only 2 cars ahead of him, Michael Gerlicher and Michele Constantini in the 66, who again, as you said, only needs to take the green flag from pole to win the Oval Championship. He does not need much. Robert Grosser's just gone up to 2nd, so we're going to see an awesome race here today at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and it's going to be awesome to see how this title battle just pans out.
There's the track conditions for today then. 70 degrees air temperature, race relative humidity of 21%, wind speeds of 9 kilometers an hour as we stand right now. Track does officially measure just a tad over 1.5 miles. Charlotte Motor Speedway, Texas Motor Speedway, Atlanta Motor Speedway, all kind of the same type of racetrack, but it's a tighter tri-oval here at Las Vegas compared to the ones that we just talked about. But also, it's a wider racing surface even, as we are now just waiting for the drivers to complete their qualification attempts. They've got themselves 2 minutes, Jake, in order to do so.
Just 2 minutes remaining in qualifying. Couple of cars out on the circuit at the moment. The 78 of Carson Bravo currently hasn't set a lap time, and the 41 of Henry Bennett also hasn't currently set a lap time. They are the only 2 cars currently out on circuit. Everyone else seems to have done their qualifying. The top 3 looks pretty set. These 3 were very quick in practice. Interesting to talk about. Well, we have another entry, a name which people aren't going to recognise here in the Classic IndyCar Series today. Jorge Anzaldo. He is the owner of the Lionheart Retro Series and the sponsor for the prize for the overall champion. So the overall champion for the series, which we will know in just over 2 hours time, will get a lovely trophy which is going to be designed by Jorge himself. He's currently 4th in the 81 machine, so watch out for him up at the front. He could upset some points battles as well. Ollie Quokka as well, another name who I believe is new to the Classic IndyCar Series, is going to be lining up 8th at the moment.
Yeah, indeed. So there's a look then at the plaque which will be awarded. Of course, not that plaque. It'll be a plaque in the driver's name to the champion of this series. Other prizes are up for grabs as well, and here's a look at them with some artwork, fantastic artwork. There's a pencil machine and a Miller machine. We're going way back in IndyCar Series history right there. And then also look at that, 3 wide, fantastic IndyCar racing. This is back in the Champ Car era, even, as we're going to call it there, as of course today's broadcast is brought to you in partnership with the Lionheart Retro Series. You can see that on the Lotus 79s on the Global Sim Racing channel. So, qualifications is pretty much going to be done now. 30 seconds before the drivers head themselves to the grid. And, well, Jake, we often joke before the start of a motor race about how tough a race can be, but Las Vegas really is a tough race. You know, we saw that in 2011. Multiple groove racing. It is fast around here. The downforce levels around here make it a pack race. You cannot put a foot wrong.
I'm seeing speeds so far in qualifying and practice of 200 plus miles an hour in these Indy cars, so it's going to be close and it's going to be fast. And as you said, going back to that fateful 2011 race here at Las Vegas in the IndyCar Series, we did see some very close racing. We did see a lot of pack racing as well, and I would expect to see the same thing here. Expect to see a few cautions as well. I think we're going to see some accidents, some drivers just being able to tangle each other together. Also, another thing which I have just learned, the number 98 machine of Gregory Schall, he's going to be lining up 15th on the grid. He is racing today in Dan Weldon's livery in his honour. So good luck to Gregory. He's starting mid-pack, and I'd like to see him move up the field a bit, but should we go down to the grid?
Indeed, so there it is on your screen right now. Michele Constantini, who gets himself pole position. Robert Grosser, he is fighting for the championship. He will roll off on the outside of row number 1. Hans Pitkin in 3rd place, and Jorge Anzaldo then in P number 4. And there is a look at the rest of your field as it cycles through. The number 98 machine, of course, many people mistake that for the car that ran at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. That was the car that Dan Weldon won at the 2011 Indianapolis 500, along with Curb Machine, Big Records, and others. And, you know, that is the car, the William Rass machine he joked about, being able to go to Disneyland in his jeans. Well, he did exactly just that. So Dan Weldon is represented here today in the good way in that number 98 car here today. We were hoping to see a number 77 machine. However, it's not looking as though that will take the starting grid here today. There is a look once again at your track conditions. 70-degree air temperature, 9km/h winds here today, and our race distance is 200 laps. Of course, that is time to beat 2 hours, which is why we're starting a little bit earlier here today, because don't forget, after this broadcast, we will head ourselves over to the Skip Barber 2K World Cup. They are back in action, and that will be starting at a slightly delayed time of 8:15 p.m. GMT here live on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live. Let's go to the grid then. You can see they're all lined up now. And well, Jack, 200 laps worth of racing, it can be very quick. Can also take a while. It all depends on cautions.
It does, and we have seen last time out at Kentucky, we only had one caution for the whole race, and it was such a good race to see. We had about 185 laps, Will, of just green flag racing, and it was very fast and very intense. A lot of the drivers actually were saying it was quite hard to complete those 185 green laps because of the amount of concentration needed. Usually the drivers use the cautions to just compose themselves, have a bit of a rest, and then get back into it. And we have seen some very caution-filled race. New Hampshire just a couple of months ago as well was very caution-filled. So we have seen two extremes here in the Classic IndyCar Series. I haven't got a clue what we're going to see today. I want to say we're going to get a green race all the way through, but honestly, I don't think we're going to get it.
You also see the signs in the rear wing of this car. Remembering Andy Morgan talked about that on the last race, of course, but our thoughts, prayers are still with his family and his friends. 200 laps of racing here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Pace car will pull on towards pit road in a moment's time, and that will put the field in the command of Michele Constantini. When it does so, we start 200 laps worth of racing here today, this afternoon, making it a big and hopefully fun race here today. Pace car on towards pit road, and we go green here at Las Vegas.
And we got an accident just a little bit back of the field, just not even going on the green flag. Carson Bravo just looks like he couldn't get the power down and had the number 59 machine career into him, also the number 2 machine of Tim Miller. So that is 3 cars with damage already, Will. We haven't even made it off the start, and we have our first caution.
Yeah, indeed we do. Let's get ourselves a replay of that one then. Carson Bodaway at the start. Well, there's the back end of that one. Let's have a look at it coming towards the green flag. There's Bodaway, number 78 machine, car used by Simone Di Silvestro in 2011. Puts the power down, loops the back end around. You know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I've done that here at this racetrack. My first ever pole position there, Jack, was in a very similar situation. The only difference was I was starting from the front. You can imagine what happened next.
A humongous pile up behind, followed by caution?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, these Dallara IndyCars are especially hard to drive. Not much downforce on the ovals, and a lot of power to put down through your right foot. Just trying to get my left and right the right way around. So it's not. Usually, you want to start in about maybe first, second gear. Will, you've probably driven these a lot more than me and know these cars a lot better. So you'll understand what was going through Carson's mind when he had that issue. But yeah, that's unfortunate for him, taking 2 cars out, Sam Sanders and Tim Miller as well, because those two will be wanting good races here today.
Yeah, and quite often it's not necessarily about starting the race in first gear or second gear. It's about the revs that you have. There is a danger zone, I would argue, between about 8,500 and about 1,100 RPM. Well, if you get into that noisy pedal too hard, then it's pretty much going to be game over for you. We'll be back in 30 seconds here on RaceSpotTV. Back live here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, working ourselves on lap number 3. A couple of drivers have come on towards pit road to do some form of top-ups, is what I'm at least thinking right now, unless there's been a crash. I know there are drivers trying to come on towards pit road right now. Andrew Edisoners, Johnny Garrett, Lucas Laville. I think they've all just fallen. Are they fallen a lap down all of a sudden here? I think they've fallen a lap down there, Jack.
I'm not sure, because I'm looking at my leaderboard. Robert Grosser is currently shown as leading the race. He got the jump on Michele Constantini at the start. But all the people who you just mentioned are ahead of him. So I don't know whether they've been into the pit lane, because Lucas Laville is ahead of Robert Grosser on the circuit. But he is a lap behind, essentially. He's 1 minute 28 back on the time boards. I'm not sure what's going on here, Will.
Yeah, and we do apologise for some of the technical issues that we just started having here on RaceSpotTV, but that is the situation right now, and it does look as though the caution will be extended for just a little bit. There is a driver at the front of your field. It is Andrew Adair Saunders right now, working behind the pace car. Lap number 4 of 200. Down towards turn number 3 and 4 as they head through the Nellis straightaway. Hard, fast back straightaway here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. In towards turn number 3 and 4. We'll get an idea of the situation in about 20 seconds time there, Jack.
Yeah, I'm just looking at my leaderboard. Andrew Adair Saunders is currently scored as 11th position on the timing screens. He is currently P1 on circuit. He's 1 minute 25 back from Robert Grosser on the timing board, so I would expect to see another couple of caution laps just to get this order reorganised and see Robert Grosser, that first car behind your pace car here at the front. That Mustang pace car, I think, is going to be having a very busy day today here, Will, showing that we couldn't even complete one corner without having a caution.
No, and of course, don't forget the fact this is also a timed race. But the lights go off on top of the pace car, and Saunders et al. Should now be going, there we can see, around the pace car. They'll reform at the rear. Saunders does need to pick up the pace a little bit. He's not got too much time. He's got to put the foot down right now.
Yeah, if he's only got a lap to complete his wave around, he is really going to have to get the pedals to the metal. He's currently doing about 250 kilometers an hour. I'm not sure what that is in imperial units for anyone who uses it, but he's currently really on the throttle at the moment, Will, to catch up back to the back of this field. And we just seen an issue for him? No, it's just some slight connection and issues there for Andrew Adair Saunders, as everyone as well behind him just looks as though Lucas is including this and trying to get their way back up to the back of this field as the leaders now come down the back straight.
So yeah, here we are then, completing lap number 5. Again, we do apologise for some of the technical issues we've got going on right now, but we have got Michele Constantini at the front of your field. Robert Grosser is alongside him. Working through turn number 3 and 4 once again then. Towards start-finish line. Towards a restart. Let's see what will happen. We start from the rear of Michele Constantini. He is on the outside of that front row of the grid now. And the green flag's back in the air. Look at the guys swarming over Michele Constantini around the outside in towards turn number 1. John Elmsheimer is going to go to the high side. They're almost going to go 3 wide there through turn number 1, but Elmsheimer makes the outside line work for him, and they are all bunched up then through towards turn number 3 and 4. Big crash there. Elmsheimer into the wall, yellow.
There was small contact there coming into 3, and that just sent Elmsheimer up into the wall, collecting a couple of cars on his way out, and it looks to be, was there 3 cars involved in there? Well, you might be able to see it, but a little bit better than me at the moment.
So there's a look on board with John Elmsheimer, and there's a look at his car. We can see it from one angle. We're going to see it from one more as well. And this is down the back straightaway towards turn number 3 and 4. And then you see Elmsheimer comes across there, hits the Herbalife car. A third car ends up getting involved. That's the National Guard number 4 machine. Elmsheimer out of this event. Here's a look now on board with Andrew Adair Saunders in the number 4 car. He slows it down. Absolutely nowhere he can go. We're going to take a quick break here, ladies and gentlemen, on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live. We'll be back with more in just 1 second. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The lights are still on top of the pace car. We're right on board Michele Constantini for the moment here on RaceSpotTV. Here is a look then at your top 8. Robert goes to the leads and Michele Constantini for the time being. Jorge Anzaldo in 3rd place. Hans Pitkin in 4th, and then Dale Stanley, Michelle Gerlicher, Ollie Quokka, and Johnny Garrett round out your top 8. As we come to the green flag here, we are going to take a couple of silent laps. Remember, Dan Weldon, who died 1 day ago tomorrow, 6 years ago, here at this racetrack. One thing worth noting is the fact that Lucas Seville is up into P number 4 right now in this event, and he is riding high. He needs P number 8 or above to get the championship here today, and that is exactly what he's doing. A hard charging first stint then from the driver of Lucas Seville in that number 10 machine. Looking to try and make the pass over Hans Pitkänen right now. He cannot get the straight line speed advantage down towards turn number 3 and 4. You can get social with us. Facebook.com/RaceSpotTV, at RaceSpot.tv, sorry, at RaceSpotTV even, on Twitter, if you want to be friends with us over there. Lucas Seville, though, is looking so strong as he tries to close down Hans Pitkänen, and the gap is less down to less than 4 tenths of a second as we go on board then with Lucas Seville. Robert Grosselow does continue to lead the way here in this event. He currently does so by a static a graphic we're going to show you right now, by 3 tenths of a second over Michele Constantini. Now, Constantini has already sewn up the Oval Championship by taking the green flag here today. However, he's looking for more. He's looking to upset the apple cart in that battle with Robert Grosser and Lucas Seville for the overall championship here today. The gap currently scored at 3 tenths of a second. More side-by-side racing going on behind. This is Michael Gerlicher involved in a multi-car battle right now with Gregory Schall, Johnny Garrett, Ollie Quoker, Niels Hundeledge, as well as Dale Stanley right now. They are almost going to be too wide and too deep as they head themselves down towards turn 3 and 4. On board right now, the driver of Gerlicher. On board of him. His best lap in the race so far is 20.097. Well, look at that. Down to the inside will go Gregory Schall over Niels Kirchlander. They're going to go side by side and towards turn number 1. And Gregory Schall will get and hammer himself up now into 8th position. Ollie Quoker looking to a little bit of the same right now as they head themselves past the start-finish line. But that Fozzie's number 44 machine just cannot find a way through as they come down towards turn number 1, turn number 2. Just over 10% of this race scored complete, working now on lap number 23 of 200. 2 cautions here early on in this event, but now it's been pretty green flag going for the time being. Will we see some of these guys do pit stops under green? Well, that's what the guys P number 14 and below are thinking and expecting right now, because they came in to top off under the first yellow flag of the day. Having looked then back towards your race leader, and your race leader right now has himself a gap of not much, just 2 tenths of a second. That is Robert Grosser. He has taken the race lead away from Michele Constantini. That gap is now up to just 2 tenths of a second between the two drivers, And last time by, it is worth noting that Constantini was just a little bit faster. The same will apply this time around. So the draft will surely come into play now for the driver of Constantini. We go on board of him, second place. Constantini putting the pressure back on. Over the driver of Hans Pitkinen, Vesetra et al. Behind, you've got now the number 81 machine coming together with the 06 car. That is Jorge Lorenzo there, trying to get himself past Randy Shoemaker. The gap is currently scored as 0.2 of a second, 0.1 of a second in towards turn number 1. And it looks as though that Lorenzo is going to have to hang that car out to the outside. Can he get the momentum to find a way passing towards turn 3 and 4? It's going to be close. Shoemaker hands on for the time being. Having a look from the rear then of Jorge Aranzo as he comes up towards the rear. Sorry, looking on board with Gregory Charles even as he comes up to the rear of Jorge Aranzo right again. And nothing you can see in the left capacity area. But look at this. Alonso will hold on and keep that position once again. He remains in P number 6 despite the odds here today. As we now turn our attention to the driver running himself in P number 10, Michael Gerlicher. What's going on with you, buddy? At the front, though, a logical team car does lead the way. The gap has been pulled towards 1.8 seconds to himself and the number 66 machine of Michele Constantini. Constantini putting the pressure on. It's a Shell V-Power car versus an Izod IndyCar Series car. I wonder who might win that one when all things come to an end. We are still waiting back from Jack Stiles, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. He's been struggling with a couple of technical issues. He's looking to be back with us shortly. In the meantime, we're on board with Constantini. On to lap 34-200 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Let's have a look at messages from Jack. Nothing just yet. It's still being led the way by Michelle and Robert Grosser over Constantini for second place. Side by side going on behind them. This is Ollie Quokot versus Neil Hundredge, and that one's going on for P number 9. Constantini versus Grosser still remains close then. The gap is classified as 1.5 seconds as they cross the start-finish line. And again, Constantini takes the outside line through turn number 1, through turn number 2, on towards the track straight away. cannot make the high line work on the exit of turn number 2, which might be what's struggling drivers here today. Still looking to the outside, comes Constantini. Still cannot do anything through turn number 1, through turn number 2. Back on board of him. We go. Let's look then, battle for P number 1, P number 2. Robert Grosser versus Michele Constantini right now. Give you an update on retirees in this event. Big issues earlier on. Elmsweimer is out. Jonathan Biggs, Carson Bodaway, Tim Miller, Sam Sanders are all classified as 1 lap down. Jos van der Ven, Henry Bennett, Michael Gerlicher, et al. They all did pit, as we got ourselves, towards that window previously, but they have not done anything since. Let's then go on board and experience a couple of laps with some of your championship contenders. We take your RaceSpotTV fan immersion. So what you just saw there, ladies and gentlemen, is pit stops have been underway. We saw an incident. We saw a replay of the incident. We saw Lucas DeVille come on towards pit road. He's come in. He's come out. He's now down in P number 15 in this event right now. Going to welcome in Cisco Scaramuza into the booth. We will try and get Jack Stiles back alongside us before we know it. But now we've got ourselves Robert Grosser at the top of the field. We've got ourselves Lucas DeVille down in P number 15. As it would stand right now, Robert Grosser would win the championship, Cisco.
Yeah, and a huge opportunity to do so, but he's still got a lot of laps left to go here, Will, and he has to make sure that he runs clean the rest of this race and make sure he stays up toward the front of the pack.
We've got drivers going around the pace car. Just hearing that one there. Tim Miller is one of those drivers doing exactly that. So Tim Miller goes around the pace car. Other drivers to go around the pace car, Sam Saunders. Lucas DeVille is on the lead lap right now, and that's important for Lucas DeVille because even though he's realistically only 0.2 a second ahead of the drivers behind him, he is still, in terms of the lead lap, important in terms of championship contention. And you know what that means? P number 8 or above is what he needs here today, Cisco.
Yeah, and that's not a huge order for him, Will. It's still very much doable, but still, nonetheless, you have that number to shoot for, and it allows you to be able to, you know, have a physical goal. You have that number you have to reach. It's like running fuel strategy. You know, you have the number you need to hit to get to your fuel mileage. You have the number you have to hit to win the championship.
But Robert Grosser still leads the way. Pace car is in. Robert Grosser, green flag, back in the air, now. One driver trying to go all the way around the outside, 4 wide there for a minute in towards turn number 1. They stay 3 wide in towards turn number 1. They survived it there on the restart. We've seen a dodgy restart already here today. They are still 3 wide as they head themselves down the back straightaway for the first time on this restart. And it is going to be, get this, the driver Johnny Gurrett there in the number 82 machine. We've also got Lucas DeVille and Jos van der Ven. DeVille up 3-4 places now in the space of a lap. Fantastic restart for Lucas DeVille as we put the ticker back up for you. Unfortunately, no live timing and scoring for you here today, but we've got a driver on towards pit road, Tyler Vickery, making himself a speeding penalty. Lucas DeVille, all of a sudden, is up there, Cisco, into your top 10, and that was all done in the space of 2 and a bit laps.
Yeah, he has worked his way up into that top 10 right now. A little bit of a battle going on. James Payne and Jos van der Ven going at it still for 14-15. Laville actually going to pick up another spot there, going up to 9th right now as he gets around Niels Hunderhenge in that number 24. A little bit of a battle behind them, and as well, Johnny Garrett going around Henry Bennett, and there they are lighting it up here at Vegas. And meanwhile, this is going to be a little bit of a battle. Shoemake and Schroll in that number 98 going at it. Also the 8 of Pittickinen up on the top side trying to make that work. He got a really good run out of turn number 2, and now heading back towards turn number 3. He's got the air up on the top side, and a very good run going.
On board Shoemake right now as he heads himself towards the start-finish line. Just having a look at the lap times here that they're doing. If they're going to get all 200 laps in, at this stage, it will be close. 50 laps now scored complete onto lap number 51 of 200 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And Shoemake is holding off that charge though over the driver of Pittkinen, as well as the driver of Gregory Schul, by running that inside line And this is kind of a situation where the inside line does work better. But now let's go back and have a look at the number 98 machine of Shaw, trying again to the outside. And again, he cannot do so. Let's go.
Yeah, and they're just running out of space right there. You saw Ollie Cuoco look to the inside of Pinnakin, and there wasn't really a whole lot of room, so they're going to go nose to tail here. Shaw looking now to the inside. He's going to have something. They're very close to Shoemake as they come out of turn number 4, and that was at 210 miles an hour here, Will, and that was about an inch difference from it all going wrong. They're still going to go side by side. Shaw has the run on the bottom side. He has the preferred line, and now Pinnakin, if he can follow through, nope, not going to be able to, as the nose cut off as Cuoco goes to the outside.
Yeah, for the time being at the very least. But again, down to the inside. They almost make contact. Again, 1, 2. They all check up. How are they all keeping it going right now, Cisco? I do not know. They
very much should have wrecked right there, and these guys fighting for inches going at 200 plus miles an hour, and this is going to be a little bit interesting because Cuoco's kind of stuck behind Shaw right now. He had a really good run, but Shaw went up to block, so a lot of defensive driving going on right now. It's just going to make these guys more and more agitated. Something's got to give here, Will, because they cannot keep driving like that and hope they don't have a caution.
Yeah, indeed. So let's go on board then with the driver now of Lucas DeVille, number 10 machine. Of course, he's looking for the championship right now. He is a championship winner. If he falls behind 8th place, he loses the championship because Grosser is leading the way right now. So for Lucas DeVille, you see these 1, 2, 3, 4 guys ahead of you, you almost don't want to be a part of it, because if you're part of the caution, you're out of the championship.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Will, and he's in a position where he's good for the moment. It's kind of similar to the position Chase Briscoe was in yesterday in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. He had to make sure that when Briscoe fell out due to an accident, he was 9 laps down. He wasn't in control of his destiny. The difference is LaVille is today. He has an opportunity to go out there and pass these guys and be able to make those positions work. Right now, just ahead of Pittikinen. That'll put him into 6 here if he can complete the pass into 1. Going to be close. Yep, he's going to clear him all right. Single files they had at 2, and meanwhile, that battle right in front of him, that's going to go 2 wide. Shoemake trying it again in the Newman Haas.
Almost going 3 wide as well to head themselves down towards turn number 3 and 4. That is Shoemake versus Quoker, and Lucas DeVille is just behind him. Gregory Shaw, though, is a driver who leads that pack right now, and that is a thing worth looking at. On board with Gregory Shaw, he checks up through turn number 1 and 2. That allows Shoemake past.
And it's going to go, did they go 3 wide? It was 3 wide for a moment. LaVille had nowhere to go. He just gets tagged. The nose cone, he'll save it. Very loose out of 4. An excellent save by LaVille, but that'll shuffle him back to 8th. That almost went wrong.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Stay in the race, you win the championship. Get wrecked. Championship goes to Robert Grosser. On board, Lucas DeVille, under green. Coming out of turn number 2, all seems okay. In towards turn number 3 and 4. LaVille, that's the second time LaVille's though turned into a driver here today.
Yeah, that got very sketchy right there, Will. We're lucky that wasn't a caution, because that really should have been one. LaVille somehow kept his foot in it, and it managed to straighten out the car. So the aerodynamics working out for LaVille, but what that allowed is it kind of broke up that group. Randy Shoemake, meanwhile, out alone in 3rd, Cuoco in 4th, and Zaldo right now in 5th, and a little bit of a battle going on, Shaw, and what's left of that battle with Zaldo, rather. So those guys going at it, picking in, and then everybody spread out, and what that also allowed is for the 2 leaders, they're gone. Constantini and Grosser are in the next zip code.
One thing worth noting, though, is if we see Lucas DeVille in P number 9 at the end of this event, he will not be the champion of the Classic IndyCar Series. So he's got work to do, but he's in a damaged, potentially, car right now. And also Dale Stanley right behind him. Dale Stanley even behind him right now. He's going to make P number 9, P number 10, an interesting proposition.
Yeah, and Stanley in the position here. He has not had the best of days. He's down 2 positions from where he started. So Stanley looking to jump up a little bit, but he's got a little bit of a ways to get to Lucas Laville. Laville, meanwhile, I'm looking at the front end of that Target Honda, and it looks for the most part to be okay. Just a little bit of damage. Of course, that means a lot, Will, nonetheless. Any sort of damage you get on the nose cone here with these IRO5s, that's huge. So for Laville here, it looks like it's not affecting him too much, but there will be a handling factor, especially when he gets back into traffic.
Yeah, indeed. So have a look again at him from up above. This is Dale Stanley in the number 38 machine, and he is battling it out with Lucas Laville in the number 10 car. Gap is 1.2 seconds as it stands right now. The battle for the race lead hasn't really gone away either. We've not really talked about this one, Cisco, but Robert Grosser versus Michele Constantini. Constantini's playing a waiting game, in my opinion, as it stands.
Yeah, waiting game, and also maybe a little bit of fuel conservation. He's he's in the draft right behind Grosser, so Constantini could just sit there and just maybe run 80%, 90% throttle. Doesn't have to run full bore because the draft will pull that number 66 along. So Constantini in a very good position to just sit back and relax for a little bit, and nobody else battling. I will say, though, Gregory Shaw just jumped to the inside. He may be coming to pit road here, Will.
Yeah, indeed, exactly what I'm thinking there. Gregory Shaw on towards pit road in the very slow way coming towards pit road. I mean, that car limped on towards pit road as he now comes in to get a service. Not what I expected from that number 98 car.
Yeah, definitely an unscheduled stop for the driver of the 98, down to in his stall now, so we'll see what the game plan is. But either way, and also that seemed like an early commitment there, Will, not a late commit, so that wasn't an emergency stop. He had planned on that for some reason. And away he goes, actually.
And a very long pit stop as well, 12.8 seconds then on the stop. Lane time going to be, get this, 38.1 seconds. That is about as long as an IU stop. It's going to hit the wall.
And he might have swapped tires, and you know, those fresh tires, they are wicked loose if you're not careful, and that's exactly what happened. Also looks like maybe Carson Broadway down pit road as well, so I'm not really sure, and Sam Sanders. So that's 3-4 guys we've seen all down on pit road in this time period. Will, maybe has somebody got the calculator out and we don't know about it?
Maybe. There is Carson Broadway. He's back out and away.
This is very odd, though. Those guys coming in that early, unless they're trying something completely out of left field in the strategy book. But that or it's a big coincidence.
Hoping for yellow at the right time is probably the better
maybe
answer.
I wouldn't bet on it, but I guess they made their bed, so we'll just have to see, Will, and we'll keep an eye on the battles on track. There's one going on right now. Johnny Garrett and Hunter Edge right now in the 24 going at it, and that is for the 9th place position right now. Garrett was just able to get around the 24 and complete that pass. Meanwhile, behind those guys, looks like everybody's single file now, so starting to spread out. Meanwhile, in front of them, Broadway, who just came back on track, battling with Henry Bennett. And looks like, no, that's not going to be for position, but nonetheless, those two together at the moment. And then that big battle pack with Adair Saunders pitting in, as well as Anzaldo is going to jump to the inside of Shaw now.
Yep, so we are now on lap number 71 of 200 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Oh, yellow! 4-car crash. There were 4 machines involved. Andrew Adair Saunders. Replay.
And also Pittickinen as well. Massive damage to the rear wing of that car.
And
replay coming up.
Laville in that one as well.
Oh, Pittickinen got loose. He just got loose and just absolutely went straight up the track to try and save it. Nowhere to go, and Laville just got hooked, and there was nowhere for the 4 to go either. And a massive accident, and Adair Saunders just completely got blindsided right there.
But for Lucas Laville, that might well be championship ending for him. Replay from on board of him. Nothing that Laville could have done there in that circumstance at all, Cisco.
No, nothing at all. I mean, we're talking, these guys came off the corner. Leveille was doing about 210. He got in the draft, and as soon as the 8 just got sideways, Leveille he had maybe half a moment to get on the brakes and slow that car down, and just out of nowhere he could go and then plows it into the inside wall, and that could very well be day done. Meanwhile, cars on pit road right now, and now it looks like maybe the strategy could work out for the people who did come down pit road. Cars off right now, and it looks like Grosser going to lead them all out. Constantini thought he was able to get that car in front. Not going to happen, though. Ali Cuoca will come out right behind the machine of Robert Grosser. So Grosser, Cuoca, Constantini, and Shu make you top 4 off pit road, and Anzaldo 5th. Meanwhile, Johnny Garrett looks like he's going to stay out and inherit that lead.
So yeah, we are now into a situation where lap number 73 of 200 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We'll take a quick break. Back with more after this.
Get ready, going green. Green, green, green.
The NASCAR Beginner for Series powered by iRacing is the premier NASCAR esports series featuring the cars and tracks from the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. The 2016 campaign saw a return to the top of the mountain by Ray Alfalla as a 3-time NASCAR World Champion. The march to that championship was not easy, though, despite the fact that Ray Alfalla took home the most points in series history. It just also happened to be the tightest championship fight we had ever seen. These guys are set for the 2017 campaign, and as it has been for the 7 years prior, it is no longer going to be a straight shot to the championship. We are going to see the biggest change in this championship picture in series history, as for the first time ever, there will be a chase for the championship. We're going to go into the Homestead Miami Speedway at the end of the season with the 4 best oval sim racing drivers in the world absolutely tied in the championship. You just got to beat the other 3 guys out and you will become an official NASCAR champion. You're going to get yourself a NASCAR championship ring and, of course, $10,000. These are the iRacing Esport World Championships, the pinnacle of sim racing competition. You can catch it all season long, live coverage on iRacing.com/live.
Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We are almost ready to go back to green flag racing, and here is a look at your top 8 as it stands. Hundgets there leads away over Payne from Grosser, from Quoker, from Constantini, Shoemake, Azendo, and Gerlica. Important thing to note, Lucas Laville is back out on track here, Cisco, as we go back to green. That's important because if Lucas Laville finishes above P8, he wins the championship here today.
Yep, got to make sure to limit the damage he's going to get. But Hunter Edge back underway, very loose. He'll spin it in the wall. Huge wreck.
I've done that. Been there.
First gear in these cars, Will. We talk about it so much. First gear in these cars can be extremely dangerous, and Niels Hunderhenge just found out firsthand what this first gear in this car can do.
Yeah, replay on board. This is my first ever pole position on iRacing. Literally mimicked to a T.
And I mean, Niels just came over the radio and just said, "I'm such an idiot, very sorry for that." And it's something where as soon as it happens, I mean, yes, there's absolutely, once it goes that way, Will, you're not saving that car.
No, you're not. And you know that you've just made a mistake. And again, between 8,500 and about 11,000 RPM, you're in a danger zone. Niels Hunder's, I mean, yes, he took out 4 drivers. That could have been a lot worse. A lot of drivers, the thing that worries me, though, are those who are scraping the wall, the safer barrier on the exit of that corner. Let's get some more replays, this time on board with Michael Gerlica. Angie's List, number 57 machine. The case of there's nothing I can do comes in really big there. Let's Lucas Laville then. I mean, Laville, actually, you'd argue, all of a sudden, had a bit of a lucky break there, Cisco.
I mean, it would have been luckier if something happened to Robert Grosser, because Grosser is the guy he has to worry about. And actually, that's going to help Grosser a lot because Grosser now has the lead. He didn't have to pass a single car at speed to make that happen. So I'd argue that actually helps Grosser a little bit more because he's back up to the lead of this thing. And it was almost just very easy passing. As for Laville here, yeah, he'll be able to pass a couple cars that are on pit road, but he still has 10 positions to make up before he's even in with a shot here, Will. That's a huge margin.
And I am starting to worry about the time as well. The time remaining is 1 hour and 7 minutes.
Yep.
We are nowhere near halfway into this event here, Cisco. And that's one of the things we were worried about.
Yeah, 200 laps here from Las Vegas. We have to complete it in an hour. I mean, it's going to be, right now, these guys would have to go back to green. They'd have to go green the rest of the way for the most part here, Will, if we even had a shot at it, and even then, I'm not sure.
On board, Robert Grosser. He got lucky there. I mean, that car just literally spun in front of him. He had clear traffic. Robert Grosser, you know, if he wins a championship, that will be the moment when luck went his way.
Yeah, absolutely. And Grosser looking right now, sitting in the best position he can be. And, you know, for him, it's just go out there, put down fast laps. He doesn't even necessarily have to win this thing. Now that Lucas Laville's run into issues, yes, he can keep an eye on Laville, see where he is in the order, but realistically, Lucas Laville probably won't get back onto the lead lap for the majority of this race here, Will. So for Grosso, rather, it's a case where he doesn't have to push the absolute envelope to go out here and win this thing, because Leveille is going to need a giant effort, I should say, to even try and get himself back on the lead lap, let alone back into contention for this thing.
There's 12 drivers in the lead lap. There are 5 drivers scored 1 lap down. Lucas Leveille is scored 2 laps down right now, and for Leveille, P number 8. If Grosser wins this race, that is what he needs. P number 8. It's going to be tough. It really is going to be tough now for Lucas Leveille. And there is the driver of Lucas Leveille. He is on track right now, but he has scored. And the thing is, the drivers who are trying to get a lap back, that doesn't help him. He needs drivers ahead of him to retire from this motor race.
Yes, he does. And Will, what's the main thing that hurts that? There's no waiver rounds. There's no waiver rounds in this series, period. This is IndyCar rules. You don't get, you don't get the lucky dog like you do in NASCAR. You have to get your lap back the hard way, and that's going to be a whole lot harder for Lucas Leveille, considering he's going to be back. He's down, from what I'm showing on the timing screen, 2 laps down as it is. So he's got to get that twice, Will. That's nigh and impossible with this rules package.
We've seen it before, once or twice in IndyCar series history.
Yeah, once or twice in the entirety of the IndyCar history.
But that's the whole thing. It could well be one of those once or twice moments. But Lucas Leveille is currently scored in P number 18 right now. And he is the last of the drivers who are running in this event. So what Lucas Leveille actually wants is another big wreck right here, Cisco.
He'd need it. It's not even something that he wants here, Will. He needs a big wreck like that to happen to be able to do something and to be able to put himself back into this championship fight, or else it's, at this point, you watch yourself lose the championship from 18th place 2 laps down. That is not a good feeling to be in.
No, it's not. So there is Lucas Leveille on the situation that he is in right now. Down at P number 18, out front, Robert Grosser. He leads away. The lights are still on top of the iRacing first safety car. We've got Andrew Anders Saunders here we've got to talk to. And he is stood by with you right now, Cisco.
Yeah, talking to the driver, the number 4, and Andrew, you had absolutely nowhere to go. You got blindsided there in that accident. Talk us through it. What happened? Andrew. Alrighty, maybe we don't have him.
Okay.
Well, it looks like we'll see if we can get his mic working later, but you know whose mic is working now, Will? It's the guy who we've been able to fix his microphone.
Jack, can you hear us?
I can hear you fine. Do I sound okay? Is my internet working?
You sound like a reasonable human being once again.
Thank fuck.
Did you just swear on my broadcast?
We are live.
Yeah, we are.
You just swore on my broadcast.
I thought we weren't live.
We're always live. Everything we do is live. We're here though, classic IndyCar series. Coming out of turn number 4. Pace car going to come on towards pit road. Robert Grosser leads. Michele Constantini. Here we go again. Green flag in the air. Robert Grosser, he either wants to lead this one from the front or find a way of getting himself into the position he needs to do so. But Robert Grosser wants to lead from the front because that is the easiest way of securing his championship behind. We have got close battles. There is Jos van der Ven right now. He's scrapping it out with a broken wheel ring. Driving to the wall there. Through turn 3 and 4.
Flip. That'll be caution.
Yellow. Dale Stanley. Cisco, talk us through it.
That was just a nasty accident, and he got a really good run off of turn 2, got to the outside of the 18, and then down to the inside came the 06, and I think that's what the driver of the 18, Jos van der Ven. I think that's what he was worried about, because that car came down. You saw van der Ven miss the apex a little bit. He wasn't able to go all the way down to the bottom because there was a car down there. Dale Stanley probably had very little idea that he was 3 wide. Next thing you know, kaboom in the fence, and the NTB car going flipping over and over and over again.
Hi, Jack.
Hello.
Dale Stanley, number 38 car then. We just see him. There's a replay down the back straightaway. There's a tie rob, there's a run into the barrier, and there is game over. And that does help Lucas Avil. We'll talk more about that one when we get back.
Get ready, going green. Green, green, green.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back to green. Apologies for that one. We'd like to thank our friends over at the Global Sim Racing channel for their support of the series through the Lotus 79 Championship that you just saw up there, as well as the fantastic plaques and artwork that we're providing to the winner of this series. We are back to green, however, lap number 89 of 200 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in Cisco. Well, as it stands right now, we've got a battle. Robert Grosser is being battled by Michele Constantini.
Yeah, great battle going on between those two as they come through turns 3 and 4, and it's gonna go right now in the favor of Grosser. Constantini is there just looking for an undercut and maybe to be able to jump to the inside, but Constantini did sit behind Grosser for a little while and do a little bit of conservation. So I think this is a case where Constantini can sit back, wait to let the race come to that driver of the 66, and then make something happen later in this thing. Will
on board right now with the blue and white of Randy Shoemaker there from Texas versus the driver of James and Payne. We've also got ourselves a battle going on. Holgate there in the number 81 machine. He's side by side right now with Henry Bennett, and also Hans Pitkinen has been involved in this battle as well. It's actually Pitkinen and Anzalo who's going at it right now. And Anzalo does not seem to be in the... I don't know. That car does not seem to be as good in a straight line compared there, Cisco, to Pitkinen.
Yeah, Pitkinen has a very, very fast car. We saw that earlier, and remember, he was involved in that incident where he got loose, came back up into the field. They rolled out the backup car for him. So the case is where Hans has an opportunity to go back, fight with these leaders. It's probably the fastest car, and while it's not the fastest overall lap time out here, still one of the fastest on track. He just ran a 7:42 versus the 7:76 of the leader. He is flying out there.
Yeah, and the thing about this racetrack as well is that you can run that medium line if you want to. Look at that right behind. Comes Henry Bennett then on the outside, not able to do anything for the time being. There is Gerlicher versus Shoemaker as well. And Shoemaker cannot find a way. In fact, Gerlicher cannot find the way over Shoemaker right now. We've got a battle on one half of our Safari Championship battle going on. But Gerlicher versus Shoemaker has been one that's been going on all season long, and here he comes then down to the inside. Gerlicher looking for position. Can he keep that inside line? No, he cannot. He falls back considerably there. And well, Cisco, that's what close racing really is. You do not always have to have the inside or the outside line. It's about what your car feels most comfortable in.
And Gerlicher just completely fell off the back of that battle, Will, and I think part of it was just to make sure he didn't float up into the lane of the car next to him. We talk about how much these cars push in clean air. You know, you have that wave of air where you can catch a guy in the slipstream as they go side by side in front of him. That's a perfect example. The 82 and the 06 right now of Shoemaker and Garrett, they're going to punch a huge hole in the air. Watch Gerlicher. He's able to just slipstream right up to these guys, but the moment you look to the inside or the outside, all of a sudden, bam, there's that wall of air, Will, and it'll tighten your car up extremely quickly, and suddenly you'll have to get out of the gas or do something to compensate for that extreme wall of air.
You know what you saw there is, first of all, the driver, Johnny Garrett, worked himself towards the 06 of Shoemaker. As soon as he realised that car was bobbling, he moved over to the number 61 car of Jorge Gonzalo, and he's right there now in that mix as well there, Cisco even, because he's already down to the inside of the number 82 machine. He tries to look and he will try and go for it, but now as a retaliatory defense, he's got the number 57 machine of Michael Gerlicher right on his outside.
Yeah, there's really nothing that Garrett can do. Garrett looking to the outside. He has speed, Will, right now, Will, but there's nothing he can really do about it because he's stuck on that outside. He just can't get the run off the corner, and he's not able to carry speed. And Laville is just kind of sitting back, waiting to see what happens with these two. I think the same as Gerlicher is. Those two will be able to just kind of freight train if they can find a line either up on the outside or down on the inside where they can get through, and that's exactly what the 57's going to do. He's just going to follow and toe right there, as it looks like Shoemake able to get through, and Gerlicke now going to kick Garrett out to the outside, and it looks almost like a freight train. No, he's going to get a little bit tight, and he has to get out of the gas, and looks like Garrett going to claw that back, at least for the moment.
But the thing is, for Lucas DeVille, he's not only got to do this once, he's got to do it twice, and then be in position to be in P number 8. So for Lucas DeVille right now, this is the almost impossible situation. We are, by the way, just hitting halfway in this motor race. We are predicting here on RaceSpotTV that this race will not go to the full distance. It will go to about 100 and maybe 90 laps, I'm going to say there, Cisco, because it's not yet a full completion, we don't think, of the race based upon when these guys went green. And that was actually an hour and 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, the time remaining in this session right now, 49 minutes and 30 seconds as they come through 3 and 4 right now. 99 laps to go for Robert Grosser. So yeah, a very, very tall order for these guys to be able to make it to the end of this thing, Will. And still a lot of racing left to go nonetheless, but strategy is definitely going to have to be considered to be altered here. You may have to change up your strategy. You might be able to make it to the end of the race here without necessarily needing as much fuel. So you can take that into account. You can also take into account the fact that you can race a little bit harder on those tires. Those tires will last you maybe to the end of the race, which is 10 laps now shorter than before.
Yeah, there are still close battles going on, by the way. In terms of your race lead, we are looking at one of them. There's Michele Constantini versus Robert Grosser. Robert Grosser has led the most laps in this event here today, but Michele Constantini is not going to allow Grosser to have an easy ride. Jack Stiles is back here, but first going to talk to the driver of Tyler Vickery. And well, Tyler, you are out of this motor race, the last round of the championship. Tell us about your thoughts.
Oh, I'm a little frustrated based on another incident earlier, which I'm going to talk to the race stewards about. I'm a little frustrated. I was looking for a better race than this, and then getting a black flag for an incident trying to avoid and everything. It's not the best situation for me right now.
Well, we talk about the end of 2018. Of course, we've got to look to the start. So 2017, we've got to look to the start of 2018, the Classic IndyCar Series. Well, we call it Classic, but we call it Classic for a reason, because of this old-style IndyCar. Looking forward to next year?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I've got another racing league I'm part of, so I'll be racing these cars for a while. So I just gotta learn how to make a better setup. But it seems like the suspension was good, but the gearing, I couldn't just stay up in the draft. I kept hitting the rev limiter on the 6th gear.
It's all about gear stacks. That's my advice. It's all about gear stacks in this car. Tyler Vickery there, coming home in P number 18. And that's a sad thing there, Jack, to see someone finishing so early and really wanting to do something better for next year.
He's someone who's definitely not taking the bad things out of this season. He's going to take the lessons that he's learned. Okay, maybe he's had a few races over the course of the year, but Tyler, I think you'll take what you've learned throughout the year, what you've done through his setups and stuff, and take it into next year to go into the start of next season much stronger than you are at the moment. You were doing really well today. You've had a great season. You've shown some potential in some of the races. You're pushing with luck at the moment as to which ones, but you have definitely been up there. It's been a name that I've recognised quite often, so if you can come back next year and stronger and better, that would be great to see.
Yeah, sure thing. I'll definitely be doing a lot of more practice. I definitely have noticed the improvement. It's just I know next year I gotta definitely finish some races, because I hate to finish early. It's definitely not one of my best suits.
Johnny Garrett, by the way, is running in P number 7, right behind Randy Shoemake. And this is the battle going on there, Cisco, for P number 6 right now.
Yeah, the battle going on, and keep in line, Neville still with a nose in this fight here. They were able to clear Gerlicke, who's actually in a battle with Sam Saunders, and that's not even for position. So Gerlicke has fallen off this group. So you have 3 cars all together. Garrett right now stalking Shoemake yet again, but just hasn't really had the speed to be able to make the pass stick. And so those two will continue to dogfight it out. And I know Garrett's probably looking to that inside. He's probably better down there, Will. And if he can get down there and maybe make the pass on that inside might be able to make something happen, because I haven't seen the speed out of the 82 on the top side to make it work.
You know what? We got 3 groups of drivers, all separated by a blink of an eye right now, within half a second, within half the distance of a football field, if you're going to travel that one in an IndyCar. We've also got Andrew Addis Saunders here. We are looking to talk to Andrew. Are you here?
I am here. Can you hear me this time?
Yes, we can. Talk us through your race.
Well, what can I say? Got a best preparation for the whole season, and what happens? Get collected twice. I already had a bad season. It was bad enough. I just wanted to end the season for once on a high. It looked like it, and then bang, got in at that, I don't know which lap it was, somewhere in the 70s, and then got hit from Anders Petkin. So disappointing.
Well, this track, Las Vegas, we know it to be a close race, a bit like Chicagoland in terms of the draft block. Do you think that attributed to your incident?
Well, definitely only that it is a packed racing track, yes, but other than that, I need to look at Hannah's incident in a lot more further detail to see whether or not that could have been avoided. But I can guarantee you this, I am going to return for next season, and hopefully with a team to be stronger and not crash out at nearly every race.
Well, Andrew Addison is there. Thank you so much for talking to us here on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live. Cisco, the emotions are raw there.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it's not something you want to do. You always want to end the race on a high note, and not able to happen there for Andrew. So unfortunate for him, going to end it on the rollback. But nonetheless, we've been watching this battle between Garrett and that car of Shoemake, and Garrett got to the inside and almost had the pass done, and then surprise out of nowhere, Andy Shoemake just took the bottom away, and it means Garrett got shuffled up to the outside yet again, Will, and these two will not let each other go. And meanwhile, Lucas Laville, I think, is just breaking out the popcorn and watching this.
Yeah, they got close there through turn number 3 and 4, but Lucas Laville still remains in 17th place. Well, Jack, that is realistically 9 places too low.
It is. He needs a good finish here today to be able to take that championship away, and he's 2 laps down at the moment, and he just doesn't have the pace to get those 2 laps back. Obviously, we still have quite a way to go. 83 laps remaining on the board for Robert Grosser, although we're not going to go full distance, I don't think, because we're going to hit the time limit first. But Lucas Laville just really struggling, actually. He can't even get past these guys, Shoemake and Garrett, who at the moment look like they're trying not to put each other into a wall. And Laville, I think, is just going to sit and wait, maybe for a caution, maybe to get a lucky dog and get a pet wave by. But at the moment, he cannot do it. And Robert Grosser is looking good to take the championship.
Or Cisco, he's just hoping that he does not become a part of these 2 drivers' issues if they do come together, but they're not doing much in terms of closing up to the competition. The next driver for those 2 drivers is Jorge, and he is currently about 2.1 seconds back behind Garrett right now, and that's a long way back.
And for Lucas Laville, it's a case where he needs a big pack and he needs an accident if he even has an outside shot at this, Will. So if you're Lucas Laville, you're probably sitting behind these guys just hoping something happens, because there's not a whole lot he can realistically go out and do as a driver in this situation, Will. Even if he drove the wheels off it, he'd be risking his own car. He can't go into another incident as it got very close. Shoemake, actually, no, that's the 19, is going to go very wide coming out of turns 1 and 2. That's one position for Laville. Yeah, he still needs about 8 or so before he even has a shot at it. So right now for Laville, it's gotta be such a sinking feeling. It's just, there's nothing you can do.
We continue along then, and Lucas Laville runs in P number 16. There is part of the ticker running along the top of the screen. The battle we are focusing on is between Shoemake and Garrett right now for P number 5 on track. No, P number 4 on track as it stands. But Pitkinson is back there now in that mix. It is a 3-horse battle. The issue is Lucas Laville there, Jack, has lost out big time to these 3 drivers.
He has, and he's going to do very well to get that time back. he is losing time all the time behind these drivers who are ahead of him. His last lap was a 26-second lap. You look a little bit ahead. Akachi, he was fastest guy around the circuit last time around, so he's definitely got the pace. He just cannot get past these cars. And you've got the number 19 machine now coming up onto the back of him. That is James Payne. This is actually going to be a pass of position here after Payne has just been in the pits. Yeah, and this is interesting because that was a forced move there, I would argue, by the driver of the number 81 machine of Jorge over the team of Henry Bennett, as we've also got Shoemaker versus Garrett going on right now, P6 and P number 7 for position. They get very close there through the tri-oval towards the start and finish line. They will come again, and they survived turn number 1, but only just this go.
And this isn't the only battle going on. We've been watching these two go at it. How about the battle in front of these guys? Pittickinen, Bennett, yeah, exactly, and Zaldo. Those guys almost went 3 wide going into turn number 1, so they're not laying off each other either as they go side by side. Shoemaker and Garrett go side by side, so 2 battles going on right now. And Pittickinen and Bennett going to get a little bit close in 1 and 2, as will Shoemaker and Garrett get very close.
If only we had an SRTV side by side right now, Cisco.
Yeah, that actually, how about Johnny Garrett coming down pit road? So we don't need any more because Garrett deciding to come down, and looks like maybe a pit stop here. And one thing I have to note here, Will, a lot of early entries for these guys coming down pit road.
Yeah, indeed. So lap number 126, then Garrett is on towards pit road right now. It is worth noting that Grosser, Constantini, Alzando, Bennett and Pittkinen are all on higher laps than Shoemaker. Now, it's Shoemaker and then Bennett who have got the least laps in this stint right now because of cautions, and that will help them, especially if this race goes to time there, Cisco.
Yeah, it will, and it'll allow them to be able to stretch those fields and those Firestone Firehawks. Now Pittickinen looking to make the move. He drops down to the apron. He's heading for pit road this time. So the number 8's going to head down. Survey says anybody else going to join him this lap doesn't look likely, so he's going to come down all alone. That'll leave everybody else right now. Grosser's still your leader, so I'm looking to see when the number 1 comes down pit road as well as the number 86 or the 82 of Johnny Garrett comes back out.
Yeah, so there's a replay then on board of Hans Pittkinen as he does himself his pit stop there under green. And under green here, Jack, you lose about a lap and a third at track Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
See, the worst thing for Hans Pittkinen right now is, as he's on pit lane, for a caution to come out, because it means that the whole field is going to get slowed down and he is actually going to not be able to get the time back because everyone's going to lap or pit under caution. He might get the time or the laps back, but he's still going to lose positions. He's currently sitting 8th position, although my timing screen has not updated. I just need to look over my shoulder. He's dropped all the way down to 14th position now after the pit stops, and probably still going to fall a little bit more. So the number 8 machine of Hans Pittkinen is out back on the circuit, now coming down your back straight, down onto turn number 3. The 2 leaders at the moment still going to go at it. They're split by about a quarter of a second at the moment. Well, Robert Gross and Michele Constantini really showing why these two are the best drivers in the series.
And it might well come down to pit stops in this one as well. There is Robert Grosser. There is Michele Constantini. As we have a look from behind, these 2 drivers did come on towards pit road the same lap last time by. So we could well have a situation here, Cisco, where it'll come down to who's the best in and out of their pit stall. And also for Constantini, he's got to remember, don't hit Robert Grosser on pit road.
Yeah, that would not end well, but it's going to be, like you said, battle mano a mano between these two. The question is, when do they head down pit road? Looks like Henry Bennett may be deciding to come down pit road, or no, he just actually got passed by Randy Shoemaker. So Shoemaker, making things happen, was able to catch up to what was left of that battle that was in front of those guys. Because everybody came down, there wasn't really a whole lot of draft help for the 41, so Bennett now falling behind Randy Shoemaker. The next one who might do so is Jorge Anzaldo in that car right in front of Shoemaker in the number 81, but everybody's still staying out for the moment, stretching the fuel and the tires.
Yeah, and it is P number 3, 4, and 5 right now going on. There is Jorge Anzaldo right now going on in 3rd place. He is 6 tenths of a second ahead of Randy Shoemaker. And, well, great job, actually, got to say, by the number 81 machine here today. But then behind, you got Shoemake versus Henry Bennett. 3, 4, and 5, led by the driver of Jorge, is fantastic right now here, Jack.
Yeah, he is an entry who we have not seen. He is a one-race entry, special entry for this race, obviously to represent the Lionheart Retro Series, and he is doing amazingly. He is in 3rd position. He's showing, maybe we could see a full season entry from him next year, Will, but he currently is showing why he deserves to be up at the front of the Classic IndyCar Series. He has been nose-to-nose, wheel-to-wheel with the drivers all the race as far as I have seen, and he has been lovely and clean, that number 81 machine. So Jorge Ansaldo, he has got my full credit today, and I would love to see him back next year.
Yeah, to all Packers fans, by the way, I'm sorry. Robert Grosser leads away just over 1.5 tenths per second over Michele Constantini, and that is what 1.5 seconds looks like, Cisco.
Yeah, no, it looks like at this point that everybody's kind of finding their battle packs, and Robert Grosser and Constantini, they can't really leave each other. Johnny Garrett's out in the middle of nowhere because he came down pit road, but Shoemake and Zaldo, Bennett's actually falling back to Laville here, so it's kind of, you see the accordion effect, 2 cars really sticking together, and now Shoemake looking to the inside on Zaldo. That gap's going to happen, and goodbye, Randy Shoemake. That car has come alive on the longer run here, Will.
It has indeed, and that means that Shoemake is down to the, well, look at this, 3rd position on track right now. But the gap between himself and Jorge Ansaldo is pretty much nothing right now. On board with Jorge once again, and well, Jack. Jorge looks to be putting on a lot of time right now as Ansaldo is really putting on the pressure on Randy Shoemake.
Randy Shoemake, I'd say, is putting on the pressure on Ansaldo. He's moved himself up the field in the last 10-15 laps. He's gone from about 6th to 3rd, I believe. So Randy is really on a charge in the 06 machine, and he's still about 6 seconds back from Michele Constantini and Robert Grosser. So don't think he's going to be catching them anytime soon in this race, but he is definitely showing his colours. He's been quite strong all season, Will, on the ovals. Not really been able to show much on the road courses, I'd say. On the ovals, Randy Shoemake has really come out of his shell and shown why he deserves to be up at the front of this field, but he is moving that 06 car. He's got his foot flat to the floor, and he's going to try and close that gap to Robert Grosser and Michele Constantini. You're leading 2 cars.
Do you think that maybe it's worth thinking about the fact here, Cisco, that maybe Shoemake is helping Alzando there, getting ahead of the driver of Michele Constantini, or is this just Shoemake in a position? He's going fast, and Jorge is just picking up the draft.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be the latter here, Will, as it looks like the driver, Robert Grosser, deciding now is the time for him to come down pit road. He slows it down to hit pit road speed. Can be close to, yep, he's got the pit limiter on. 50 miles an hour down here on pit road, and a very slow pit road as Gerlica also just came in front of Grosser as well. So 2 cars down pit road now making scheduled stops.
Also worth noting the fact that Robert Grosser has come down on 141. He will lose himself a bit of time because of the fact he's doing a pit stop. But we've got to remember also that if he wins this race, then you got yourself his team, well, not his teammate, sorry, his championship rival, Lucas Avil, running in 3rd place. Robert Grosser, 12-second pit stop there. That's a full service, I would say, for the driver of Robert Grosser. And actually there, what we've got to think about right now, Jack, is has he now got the opportunity to keep in touch with the race leader?
Maybe he has, maybe he hasn't. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen with these pit stops. Everyone's going to do slightly different strategies. Some might take just tyres, some might take just fuel, some might take fuel and tyres. I would say everyone's going to take fuel and tyres because unlike what we saw early on in the season back in round 2 with Barber Motorsports Park, where everyone did the whole race on the same set of tyres, what we're seeing here today instead is these tyres are getting worn down. You're turning left at 200 plus miles an hour. Those tyres are very quickly going to wear down. Michele Constantini is going to be rejoining the circuit now, coming down into turn number 3. He has dropped down to 5th position, and he has managed to stay ahead of Robert Grosser. In fact, he's leapfrogged Robert Grosser and got a lead on him, Will.
He has indeed. What a fantastic opportunity for that one driver, but for Robert Grosser, that does hurt him just a little bit. Robert Grosser right now classified in P number 6, Constantini ahead of him. As it stands right now, the championship will still go, Cisco, to Robert Grosser but not if he loses any more positions.
Yeah, no, it's his Grosser is at the limit of where he can be, and he's starting to move back up in the order because everybody else who hasn't pitted yet is still in the process of doing so. Now Grosser's up to 4th already, so the only cars in front of him are Constantini, who's not really that far down the road, Shoemake, who's on pit road right now, and Dale Stanley, who's continuing to stay out and should be the last car that'll stay out on track before everybody cycles through. So Grosser in a position, he'll make his way back up the order here, just in the middle pit stops right now, so it's a little bit further down the order.
We have officially got 56 laps worth of racing to go, and there is Shoemake coming out of pit road. Go on board with him. Henry Bennett remains is ahead even. Johnny Garrett is ahead then of the driver of Randy Shoemake. Shoemake down to P number 7 with a 0.4 of a second, no, 0.5 of a second gap to Henry Bennett right now. Shoemaker is now got to be on the move here, Jack.
He does. He needs to make up some positions that he's lost. Henry Bennett has managed to leapfrog him in the pits. Hans Pitkanen as well has managed to get back up to the front. We're just going to see the timing and scoring updating now because Dale Stanley is unfortunately still classed up with the top 7. He shouldn't be because he is now down onto pit lane. He has taken a stop and he is back out again, I believe. So Dale Stanley has completed his stop for this race, the final stop for this race, I believe. Michele Constantini has inherited the lead from Robert Grosser. Robert Grosser just 0.4 of a second behind, so he's still going to have the draft and still going to be within touch and distance. 4.5 seconds back is Hans Pitkanen, and he's going to round out your top 3. But your top 3 at the moment have been, from 3rd down to 6th, maybe 7th as well, include Johnny Garrett in this. They have been at it all race, Will and Cisco, because we have seen these guys side by side and we know these guys can run close.
But the thing is, Cisco, the fact that Lucas Seville is down in P number 15 right now, that is a huge thing there for Robert Grosser. He knows he does not have to win this motor race.
No, and that means he can go out there and be a little more relaxed. It's kind of for Laville, it's a case where Laville, realistically, he's got 28 minutes left in this thing and not a whole lot he has that he can really do to change his fate here. So Laville, it's go out, run as fast as you can. For Grosser, it's, hey, just go out there and make sure you don't crash and you win with the championship. So for Grosser, sit behind Constantini, conserve like what Constantini did to him earlier, and hey, if you want to go win this race, go win it. Otherwise, just sit behind, let the championship come to you.
51 laps remain inside this motor race right now, and we have got ourselves 27 minutes to do so. A lap time around here is 25 seconds. Cisco, one more caution, and I would say this race goes to time, not to distance.
It's going to be close. I'm starting to think it'll just go to time right now. It's going to be extremely close. These guys lapping around 26 seconds, averaging through the field. So it's going to be close, but I think they'll have enough time to make it up, but as you said, it has to go green from here. If it doesn't, then yeah, we're definitely ending this thing on time.
Yeah, so as it stands right now, Jack, what do you do? Is it the case of go as fast as you can, or do you try and do what we've done before and fuel preserve?
Depends who you are at the moment in this race. If your name is Lucas Seville and you're driving the number 10 machine in 14th position 2 laps down, you go hell for leather. You want to get as many positions as you can and score as many points as you can. If you're the number 1 machine of Robert Grosser, 3/10 back from Michele Constantini in the lead, in second place, I think you just sit back, try and save a little bit of fuel, make sure you have a little bit in the tank as reserve. I think this race is going to go to time, and in fact, actually, I believe we could see Lucas Seville down onto pit lane.
Yeah, indeed. So Lucas Seville then, this is going to be huge in terms of the championship. There is the driver of Lucas Seville. Let's go on board with him for the moment. He stays out for the moment's time, but he will come in towards pit road, we think, soon. Look, he's only 11 laps into a stint. The biggest driver in terms of laps is actually James Payne, and he's down in P number 7 there, Cisco.
Yeah, James Payne right now actually done an excellent job up 13 spots. So, hey, not a bad day for the driver of the 19, and has had a little bit of, had to do a little bit of avoidance driving earlier on to avoid some of the accidents we saw, but done an excellent job and kept that car, for the most part, pretty clean, and up to P number 7 right now. An excellent job.
Yeah, so as there's a look, you can see that Payne is the biggest mover inside your top 10 right now. But you've also got yourself the driver of Randy Shoemaker. He's up 11 positions, as is Jos van der Ven in P number 11 as it stands right now. Losers, well, you can see of the 22 car field, that is John Elmsheimer, who has lost the most here today. He is classified as out of this event. There are now 5 drivers out of this event. Tyler Vickery, Niels Hunderschutz, Jonathan Diggs and John Elmsheimer. John Anders Saunders is classified as out of the race for the time being. His car is still on pit road, though, there. And that's what we can see, Jack.
Yeah, it looks as though Tyler Vickery's car is also still on pit lane. So those two still could re-enter this race, although I highly doubt they will. They probably had some very extensive damage on their cars after their incidents. At the moment, everyone else just seems to be running nice and clean, nice and fast as well, as we expect here at Las Vegas. So Michaela Constantini, Robert Gross and Hans Pitcairn still your top 3, and Hans is just dropping back very quickly actually from Robert Grosser. The gap from Hans to Michaela in the lead is now 7.7 seconds, so Michaela and Robert seems to be the 2 fastest drivers out on circuit at the moment. That reflects in their fastest lap times. Michaela Constantini has also got the fastest lap of the race at the moment at 25.727, which is a brilliant lap. Just no one seems to be getting below the 26s at the moment. The only way you get a 25, I think, is on new tyres.
Yeah, indeed. So don't forget, for the time being, we are predicting that Robert Grosser will win the championship because he is currently in P number 2, and you got Lucas Seville after that incident down in P number 13 right now. So Leville is down in the championship. We'll take a break here on RaceSpotTV, take you side by side, and then when we come back, we'll have more information about what will happen in terms of the championship. We'll be right back. Don't forget, Sunday Night Skippies will be here on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live. Just after this broadcast finishes, we will be doing a 15-minute delay, however, so the race will start 15 minutes later than advertised. We will start at 15 minutes past 9, 15 minutes past 8 even, GMT time. We've still got battling going on. This is down for P6, 7 and 8, and it's lap cars going up against non-lap cars here, Cisco.
Yeah, and then the battle for P8, it's Dale Stanley right now, who sits in that 8th position. He's a lap down right now in front of the car. And actually, never mind, I was looking at a different car. The battle that I'm looking at right now is Robert Grosser and Constantini, because right now, those two are the closest they've been in this run, Will. And hey, throw James Payne in there because he's a little bit of a spectator here, sitting behind the leaders.
Yeah, indeed. So there is a look then at your battle for P number 1. P number 2 is 2/10 of a second right now between Robert Grosser and Michele Constantini. They head themselves down the back straight away in towards turn number 3 and 4. And well, Jack, all day long we have seen Grosser versus Constantini, but no passes yet between them.
No, the only passes we've already seen is on the restarts with cautions and also from the green flag at the start. So we have a little bit more information to do with the championship. If Robert Grosser if he wins this race, Lucas Laville can finish no higher than 8th. If Lucas Laville finishes lower than 8th, Robert will take the championship. I assume him currently sitting in 2nd, he will still be okay to win the championship with Lucas down in 13th position, I think he is at the moment. So Robert Grosser at the moment...
Yeah.
Yes, Robert Grosser, as it stands, looking like he is good to take the title with just 30 laps remaining here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
And that's the thing for Lucas Laville. I mean, he has had a horrible day here today, Cisco, in that all he had to do was finish P number 8 and higher. He cannot do that right now because of the fact he has scored as 2 laps down from your race leader. So Lucas Laville has had a miserable day here today.
And Laville still has a chance. He's not completely out of this because he's sitting in 10th position right now and still looks like he has a shot to pass maybe Carson Broadway and if Dale Stanley gets lapped again. So Laville's still very much in this fight, and if he's able to get past Broadway, Stanley, and maybe James Payne before this race over, he still has an outside shot, Will. So this thing not quite over yet.
Well, there is the driver of Lucas Laville right now. There is the driver of Dale Stanley coming past the start finish line as Lucas Laville is doing the same right now. That's a lap to make up in less than 25 laps, and let's not get this one incorrect as well, because we've also got ourselves only 17 minutes left to go here. So Jack, in terms of time to laps, we are almost back on track. This race might almost finish just under the distance.
I am showing us 27 laps remaining for the leaders, Michele Constantini, Robert Grosser. So with just 17 minutes remaining, 27 laps to go, it is going to be incredibly tight. And I believe we're just going to be able to get it done. I'm estimating if they're doing 30 seconds lap, about 30 laps to go. So a caution will throw that right out of the wind. And if we have another caution before the end of this race, we're going to time. But at the moment, it looks like we may just complete the 200 laps.
Yeah, James Payne's coming towards pit road. He is the first of drivers to come on towards pit road. The ironic thing is here that Cisco, everyone has got to come on towards pit road one more time. And, well, for James Payne, he's actually lost himself there 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds because he overshot his pit stop.
Yeah, he overshot his pit stall here, so this will maybe give Laville an opportunity to gain another position here. Payne back out on track. Yep, there goes Laville right there. So now to P9. Grosser's still not leading, Will. So this is very much still out in the open. If Laville gets past Broadway, who, by the way, is about not even a car length in front of him, Lucas Laville could win this championship.
And also, don't forget, on the way back, if Grosser messes up, then it's championship over for him. However, the battle will be... Oh, yellow!
Caution!
And it's Shoemake. And that's a driver inside of your top 10. So that will mean that if Shoemake can't get back up, that is one position extra for the driver of the driver who's been 2 laps down, Lucas Laville. So all of a sudden, The game is back on here then. Jack, this is interesting.
We have just seen a massive incident coming off turn 4 between Randy Shoemake in the 06 and Johnny Garrett in the number, let me just bear with me a sec, 82 machine, the Lotus car, and that is a huge incident. Randy Shoemake almost taking out another car there. He's hit the inside pit lane wall, and that is day over for him. He is sat on the pit lane probably trying to get some repairs, but that is going to promote Lucas up into P number 8 now, and I think that could be just flipping the championship on his head once again. Robert Grosser needs to get to the lead, and he needs to do it fast. We're going to go to time here at Las Vegas, but what we're going to see now is, are we going to see Lucas Seville take the championship on what has been just a race of gaining positions and logging laps, or are we going to see Robert Grosser being able to take that lead away from Michele Constantini, or even are we going to see a bit of team orders? Is Michele going to move out of the way for Robert so he can take the title?
Well, it's going to get very, very close then. Here's a replay on board of the number 82 machine, who is driven by Johnny Garrett right now. He's on pit road as we speak. And there's the incident. He is on pit road as it stands right now. Lucas Seville is in P number 8 as it stands. He is classified as laps down. However, 21 laps to go. You'd say, yeah, I need some fuel. But you've also got 22 laps to go. I'd say that one again. However, 14 minutes to go on the play clock, Cisco. How much fuel do I need? That's the question.
I'd make sure you're going to have enough. I don't think you need to fuel too far. You could probably start to take a decent guess at how many laps you're going to do, but I wouldn't try and risk it by taking less fuel, Will, because if you overestimate how many laps you're going to be able to do, you're going to be in big time trouble because you're going to run out of gas, and that's going to be way worse than losing that extra second or two if you have more fuel. So if I'm someone, if I'm coming down to fuel, I'd make sure that I'm good for not the laps left listed, but at least the laps that, I think we can realistically do from where we take the green flag on time here.
Ville is in. We'll be back in 45 seconds. Lucas Seville comes out pit road. He is currently in P number 12. Michele Constantini leads the race, and then it's Robert Grosser in P number 2. Cisco, if you're Robert Grosser, what do? Do you go and attack the race lead, or do you stay in P number 2, even though you're on the outside of the lane coming towards the start-finish line?
I think you have to be on max attack, because where timing shows Lucas Seville right now, because he came down pit road, he's back to 12th, but he's realistically probably going to pass several of these cars here. So if I'm Robert Grosser, I'm not waiting around. Yes, I'm absolutely going for that lead.
Michele Constantini leads the way. The drivers will allow, the safety car will allow drivers to take them one lap towards the front if they are ahead of the leader. So a number of drivers are going to do that right now. That will actually hurt Lucas Seville a little bit. There is Lucas Seville right now. He is actually
James Payne in front.
Yeah,
if James Payne's going to be in front, he's going to get a lap back, as will Quokka, as will Sam Sanders, and Jos van der Ven, and Carson Broadway. So with Seville coming down pit road, Will, I may be wrong here, but that might have just sealed Seville's fate, had it not?
He is currently P number 12. That means Robert Grosser, if he finishes in second, that is A-OK. However, finishing in third, then we need to get our statistician involved in this one. So, Constantini is on the inside. But last time, what we did see here, Cisco, on a restart, is actually the outside line worked. And this time, Constantini is on the inside. We see him now.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a battle of who's going to have the grip, who's going to have the run. We saw what happens when it all goes wrong earlier. Well, this is going to be what could be the last restart of this thing. 19 laps to go to the line as the pace car heads for pit road.
We cannot complete this race on the laps. So now it has come down to time. Green flag, yellow! Jos van der Van is involved. We've got Carson Bodaway involved as well. Replay coming up for you now.
They were separate incidents, Will. They both spanned on their own, just looking like they had the same issue of what we saw at the start with Broadway again, I think, as he just spins around coming into turn number 1, just having that biting point over 8,000 RPM and not being able to get the power down. But more crucially, Robert Grosser is now in the lead of your race.
Robert Grosser might well be in the lead of the race. Where is the driver that we are looking for right now of Lucas Seville? He's still down in P number 12.
If those two cars that wrecked, Will, if they have to come down and take repairs, Laville will be able to leapfrog them here, because this is an opportunity. Laville's a lap down from where those guys were. Laville was on lap 179. Van der Ven and Broadway were on 180. So if Broadway looks like he's parked it for the evening, he's done. So that's one spot right there. So that'll put Laville to 11th. If Jos van der Ven's also done, that'll put Laville to 10th. So this is an opportunity where Laville is close, but once again, he's in the position where he's kind of stuck behind a bunch of these guys who's one lap above him because he came down in pit last caution, Will.
If you're Robert Grosser, you almost say, please guys, don't come on towards pit road. Don't leave it. Leave it until the last moment and just see how your car is. Robert Grosser right now is in second place. He is behind Michel Constantini, so therefore he needs to have Lucas Seville outside of your top 10. Right now, Lucas Seville is in P number 11. This is drama under caution right now here that we are seeing. This is fantastic here, Cisco.
Yeah, and Jos van der Ven still keeping his number 18 out on track, which is a surprising move to say the least, because that car suffered significant damage after making contact with the safer barrier coming off of turn 4, and you could see the right side damage. The side pod's gone, the right front of the nose cone's gone, as well as the wings. So this is, I'm not sure Van der Ven's going to be able to get a decent start here, but he's doing it just to keep a car out there right now, maybe. But either way, it's stopping Laville from having a shot at this championship.
Do you think that maybe there are certain people who's thinking, wait a minute, I don't want Laville to win this championship, or I don't want Grosser to win this championship? Politics, IndyCar racing has always been what it's been here, Jack.
I don't think politics is going to come into this. I think you'll find Jos van der Ven will be wanting to keep his car out because he'll be wanting to keep his track position. We haven't got long remaining in this race now. The ticker is really climbing down now. It's definitely going to hit time. We've got 17 laps remaining. We're not going to complete those 17 laps. I think we might just get a few laps back under green after this caution. Not many though. And I think Jos van der Ven will just want to be bringing his car home. For Lucas Laville, he is currently sat in P number 11. He's 2 laps down, so he's currently outside of the top 10, and he has no chance to pick up any more positions for people on his lap. He is leading the 2 cars that are on 2 laps down, and that is him and Carsten Brodvie in the 78. At the moment, I think Lucas Laville maybe has called it quits, but Robert Grosser, it's just too close to call, Will. We won't know until this race is finished.
You never call it quit. Lucas Seville right now, yes, he is classified as 2 laps behind the race leader, but if he can get one of these drivers 1 lap down, and one of these drivers 1 lap down crashes, and all of a sudden there, Cisco, I think Lucas Seville wins the championship.
Yes, he would need another accident out of these guys to be able to do anything, because he's at the top of his lap that he's on. He's the only guy who's on lap 181. Jos van der Ven, James Payne, the guys in front of him directly who are still laps down, they're only 1 lap down. They're on lap 183.
So if one of them pits, game over.
If one of them, but even if one of them pits, Will, they won't lose a lap. They have to lose a lap in order for Laville to overtake them.
Any damage, so if they've got damage, I think they're going to have to pit for more than a couple of seconds that you're thinking about. And all of a sudden, Lucas Laville up into speed number 10. Lucas Laville in speed number 10. Lucas Laville wins the championship.
So, yeah, and the only person with enough damage who I think would have to do that is Jos van der Ven. He's the linchpin in this, Will. If he has to come down, if that car does have too much damage, he's the only one here who's in that position. Everybody else, looking through your field, has pretty clean race cars. So this really comes down to the fact of, does Jos van der Ven, number one, can he maintain race pace? Number two, is the car even able to stay out there, or will he pit, lose a lap, and Lucas Laville wins his championship?
It looks very, very close right now. And let's see if we can zoom in on that car. And there is the issues to it. We'll try and circle that one for you right about now. Around there, you can see you've got yourself the wing. That's damaged. And you've also got the side pod. That is damaged as well. They are the two issues that is causing Jos van der Ven issues. But I would say that that one right there, the side pod, is the most important one. We'll find out, though, over the course of the next 5 minutes, 4 minutes now, and 13 seconds, plus a lap, as the drivers are about to get ready to go racing in one more lap. And actually, I feel like we're on pit road right now here, Jack. And actually, the more time I spend on track, the more it helps the driver of Robert Grosser.
Yeah, because it's the less time that Lucas Laville has got to make back positions. He's not going to have very long. This lap is probably going to take around 1.5 minutes to complete. So I reckon we are going to get 5 laps of green flag racing, as long as we don't get any cautions. If we get any more cautions, we will finish this race under caution. At the moment, it looks as though we're going to get 5 green laps of racing, and that means that Lucas Laville hasn't got very long to make up the time he needs to win this championship. Robert Grosser is going to have the outside line as well for the restart. Looks like he didn't get the lead on the restart beforehand, so he's going to have outside line as we come round. I believe we're going to be starting next lap, because no, the lights have gone out on the pace car. It's very hard for me to see in the position that I'm currently looking at, so we're going to see green flag this time, and Robert Grosser is going to have the favourable outside line.
Yep, as we just saw then, the driver of Jos van der Ven, that'll be the critical part, I would think, for this restart. Michele Constantini has himself, though, the inside line for this restart. We are on board with him. RaceSpotTV, fan immersion. Here we go. Constantini bottles up the start. Robert Grosser is in your race lead right now. 2 minutes left to go. And what, Cisco, that is exactly the worst thing there for the driver of Lucas Laville. He's up to P number 11, but that's nowhere near enough right now.
No, and Jos van der Ven still under power. That car looks decent enough, so they'll go side by side. 3 wide, meanwhile, in your middle pack. And it's going to be Dale Stanley up on the high side, gets a little bit loose. And he's going to get shuffled up to the outside as here comes Constantini in that red and yellow car down to the inside, chops off the nose of Pittikin in there, and they'll go single file between the top 4, and Stanley meanwhile single file. But yep, as Grosser drives away, as does Laville's championship hopes.
Michele Constantini ironically sets the fastest lap of the event so far, but is there any chance that him and Henry Bennett can pass the driver of Robert Grosser in the last, well, it's essentially going to be 3 laps here, Jack, which will decide the championship?
I'm not sure. Henry Bennett, we know, is fast. We've seen that all season long, but I just don't know whether he's got the pace to get past Robert Grosser. He's also got to catch him first. He's 2 tenths back. He's These two are running laps more or less the same times. Michael Constantini is going to go fastest again, a 25.581. This is the quickest times we've seen all day from these drivers, and the top 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 last time around were all under 26 seconds. This is brilliant racing to see from these guys. Light fuel lows, they want to get to the end. Robert Gross is going to continue to lead. We are going to have, I reckon, 2 more laps remaining. White flag next time round. I believe Robert Gross is still leading.
He is indeed, and there's a look on board with the driver of Henry Bennett. He has come so far, and he's tried so much, but Bennett will not be able to get the race lead, heading through turn number 3 and 4 this time by. The white flag is out. 1 more lap to go at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and it is Robert Grosser who continues to lead the way by 0.2 of a second. He worked himself through the back straightaway, the Nellis straightaway, through turn number 3 and 4. He will come for the final time, and Robert Grosser will win the Classic IndyCar Series in fashion. He wins. He gets a championship. He gets everything all in one go. Grosser does it the hard way, but Grosser will win here today. Grosser, your Classic IndyCar Series champion, Cisco.
And he did it by winning the race, Will, and what a show of talent to be able to go out there, win the race. He was sitting in second. Just the mistake by Constantini is all Grosser needed to go out there, win the championship and the race. And Grosser's going to be getting ready to do a little bit of donutting here, maybe, and celebrating his championship here in the Classic IndyCar Series.
Well, there's your top 10 on your screen for a moment, but let's take that away and show you. Robert Grosser winning the Classic IndyCar Series. Almost as foggy as Fiji at some points along there, but Robert Grosser does win out here today. He does not get the fastest lap. That goes to Michele Constantini. In fact, worth noting there, Constantini loses second place, and he earned time in 3rd overall. Henry Bennett in 2nd, Constantini in 3rd place. Jorge in 4th. Hans Pitkanen rounds out your top 5. What a race we just had, Jack.
That was intense. Obviously, I missed some of that, and I will go back and watch it. But to see Robert Grosser take the title in such a way he did, Michele Constantini just could not get that final restart right. The outside line was favourable, and Robert Grosser just managed to time that restart much better. So congratulations to him. He has been strong all season in that number 1 car, and he fully deserves that number 1 car for next season. Heartbreak there as well for Lucas Laville after leading the championship all season to lose it on the final 5 laps of the final race.
And there is your dual real timing unofficial results then from here at Las Vegas. We will step aside for 1 moment's time, and when we come back, we'll talk to your champion. over for another year. The classic IndyCar series brought to you by Logical Innovative Engineering as well as Joe Real Timing. We have got a champion finally to talk to. That driver is Robert Grosser. Robert, that was a very close championship. You nailed it. You got it. It was close. How did you do it?
Yeah, first of all, I have to say I'm at a loss of words right now. This was so exhausting race and season and everything. I can't believe that it still was enough to win this championship. I have to say I'm feeling with Lucas right now really because we are competitors, but also we are good friends, and he had deserved this one really a lot, and I'm just happy, but my brain is just empty right now.
Well, you talk about the fact that you know it's exhausting for yourself and for your teammate. Does it make it harder, the fact that you are running a teammate there throughout this event here today, and that might have changed your mindset?
It actually it was the other way around. It was giving me a lot of confidence, and I was feeling safe as long as Michele was around me. That was really encouraging and a good thing.
Well, you have won the championship. It was very close in the end. The fact that you won the race meant that you won the championship. Were you worried that Lucas might have just squeezed in at any point?
Yeah, absolutely, because you never can count him out. We saw it last week, 2 weeks ago at Kentucky, where he came from the very end of the grid and still finishing, I don't know, P4 or something like this. So you never can count him out. He is always strong, and I wasn't sure until the checkered flag dropped.
Well, congratulations. There's 3 questions I'll ask you in once here. A, who do you want to thank for winning the race and getting the championship? B, who do you want to thank in terms of the series? And C, what's happening next year?
Okay, first I like to thank for this race. I like to thank the Michele because we worked again very hard through the week to develop the setup and the car. And I think it was quite obvious that we had the fastest car out there, so this goes to him. And second, for the championship, first of all, I like to thank all our drivers and who made this possible. We had awesome grids this year, all the time, in average 20 plus cars on the grid. We had great racing. So it was just awesome that these guys are part of this league and making the races as great as they are. So big thanks to all of them. I hope you all come back for next year. But also our sponsors, Logical Innovative Engineering, of course, then Joel Real Timing, and the Lionheart Retro Series, and especially to owner Jorge Ansaldo, who is also here racing with us today, which is a real pleasure. And let's not forget, of course, you guys, RaceSpotTV, Will Vincent, Jack Stiles, Cisco. I don't forget Randy this time, of course, as well. Thanks so much for being our partner. And yeah, talking about next year, we would like to continue. We would like to have a series again, 12 races, 6 ovals, 6 road courses. My plan is to have again a partnership with you guys from RaceSpotTV. Same time slot, pretty much the same, new tracks, new challenges, and I'm really looking already forward to this.
Robert, we'll see you next year. Robert Grosser there, coming home, winning the championship, winning the race here today as well. We got ourselves Michele Constantini coming home in 2nd place. He stood by with Cisco Scaramuzza.
Yeah, and the driver of the 66, Michele Constantini, very good race for you out there. Not quite the finish you wanted, but nonetheless a good finish. Talk us through it, man.
Yeah, it's been a very difficult race. In the first part, we had a lot of yellows, so just try to stay up there, not lose positions in the restarts. And then we had a very long stint, And yeah, too bad about those last 2 yellows, because it would have been a very, very interesting race in fuel-wise, because we were very close to make it on fuel. And me and Robert, we did a great strategy in saving fuel. In the first stint, he saved behind me. In the first stint, I saved behind him, and then in the second stint, he was saving behind me. And yeah, that last yellow, it came out, and yeah, nothing I could do there. I just lost it on the restart, and that's what happened.
Well, still an excellent finish for you, and talk to us about your plans for next year. You coming back? What's the plans for you guys?
Absolutely, yeah, I'm coming back 100%. I will do all the ovals and maybe some road races as well next season. I don't expect to be as competitive in the road side, but still it will be a lot of fun. Racing with these guys is always great, so yeah, I hope to come back and maybe do more races next year.
All right, well, that's Michele Constantini, finishes third here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and Will's lined up the next interview.
I have almost indeed done exactly that. We're going to talk to the driver who came placed next in line here today, but the driver also we wanted to talk to, because of course he is doing a fantastic favor to the Classic IndyCar Series. Jorge, congratulations on getting a podium here in the final race of the championship.
Well, thanks a lot, Will. Appreciate you guys bringing me in. I was really excited to run this one with the CIS today, so big thanks to Robert also for inviting me in.
So talk us about your race, because you started down in the 4th position. You finished apparently down in 4th, but I thought you got 3rd.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, no, I was close. Earlier in the race, I was hanging around P3, but at the end, I decided to take tires and a little bit of fuel. I wasn't sure I was going to make it, so just kind of hung in there. And that final restart, was able to get around. Driver in front of me had a little rear wing damage, so just able to make up a little ground at the end.
So long green flag runs here today, then short caution-filled incidents. How does that affect you driving an IndyCar?
Well, basically, you just got to stay mentally focused. I was really watching my fuel, trying to conserve on the yellows. Just hang in there, stay clean, and also to avoid a little bit of the carnage. Had a couple of incidents in front of me, and just was able to keep it clean, and had a really good pit stop there under green.
You got yourself 4th place here today, but again, as we say, what you do for the Classic IndyCar Series is far bigger than that. You also sponsored this race, you sponsored part of the series, and you're a big part of helping, in my opinion, making IndyCar continue, especially in this car and also older cars that we don't yet think about in some ways. The Lotus 79, for example, they run on IndyCar tracks, but also old style racing.
Well, yeah, I just, I'm a very big open wheel fan. I've been an IndyCar fan since I was a kid. This community is just filled with so many great guys. The talent and the racing amongst all disciplines in the open wheels series on iRacing is just incredible. And so I just wanted to help out in any way that I could. And Robert's a great guy. I really appreciate what he's doing here, all the time and effort that he puts in. And so for that, we're going to be creating a championship plaque trophy for him as winning the championship. It's something that we do in the Retro Series, which races the Lotus 79, and we want to extend that over to the CIS champion, which obviously is Robert there. We're going to be getting that out to him. Just something to show for it, hang on his wall, because obviously this was a long, grueling season for these guys. Full distance races takes a lot, and he definitely earned it. So just wanted to help out a little bit.
Well, before we let you go, Jorge, let's talk about the Lionheart Retro Series, because again, you are a sponsor of that series. Yes, we're on competing broadcast services, but GSRC do a fantastic job of broadcasting that one. So tell us a little bit about Lotus 79 Lionheart Retro Series.
Well, as you know, the 79 is really a Formula One car. However, again, being that IndyCar fan that I am, I wanted to try to bring back that early 80s feel of IndyCar. And so with that, we do race on ovals, we race on the short tracks, super speedways, and a really good mix of road courses as well. We really like the true format of IndyCar, which is road and oval. And so with that, again, just like how Robert's doing here with the CIS, what seems to be old is still new, you know, and very much fun and should not be forgotten. And with the Retro Series and CIS, I think we're both just trying to keep those eras of IndyCar alive with the community here on iRacing.
Well, thank you so much there, Jorge, coming home in P number 4 here today. Going to talk to one more driver. That is the driver of Gregory Shaw. And Gregory, I want to talk to you about two things. First of all, how was your race here today?
It was okay. We had a few issues at the beginning with just our pit crew not sure if the box got unchecked or something, but we didn't get fuel that first time we pit, which put us a lap down, and trying to fight for it back, and I just kept spinning out because the apron on this track will get you if you touch it.
The second question I wanted to ask you was, and I know it's a tough one because you and I both share a certain thing, knowing DW and everything around that. 6 years tomorrow is his anniversary of him passing, and I know that you're not only a huge Dan Weldon fan, but also someone that's known Dan Weldon. You've done 200 laps around this racetrack here today. How does it feel to honour the memory of Dan Weldon?
I wish I could have done a little bit better. Definitely had a car that he would definitely drive. It was a really quick car, and you know it's been a great honor to be able to drive his paint scheme tonight.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us there. Greg coming home in the 11th position here today in that number 8 William Ras machine. And you know what? The thing that stands out for me there, Cisco, is the fact that when he said, I wanted William Ras Dreams to go to Disneyland with my kids, that sums up Dan Weldon.
Yeah, of course, a monumental figure in the sport, and probably one of the hardest days that this sport and the everybody involved in motorsport had to go through. But we're here, we're able to celebrate his life and go out there and race today, and have a safe IndyCar series due to a lot of the work that he did going into the car that we're using in the car that we will be switching to at the beginning of next year. A lot of work that he did to make this sport safer and to leave his impact on the sport, which is massive.
Yeah, and let's not forget as well the fact that Dan Weldon was not only, a fantastic ambassador for IndyCar, fantastic ambassador for the Alzheimer's Association in support of his mother, but also making IndyCar safer. And that's one thing worth remembering as we think around this racetrack. Thank you so much for being a part of our coverage here today. We are almost out of time. If you're looking for the 2K World Cup, we'll be here in just 2 moments' time. But this has been the Classic IndyCar Series here on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live. And thank you, everyone, for being a part of our series over the course of this year. The Classic IndyCar Series will come back in 2018. Will Winton, Cisco Scaramuza, and Jack Stiles. We'll talk to you all next time. Bye-bye.